What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with Luca in the way a little bit here. And we're continuing with Japan's 1978 album Obscure Alternatives. Thank you again to Phil. And we're up to the title track. It's a phrase I've been thinking about since the record started. And most fundamentally, it sounds like a set of less common possibilities, choices, or actions that are outside the consensus or mainstream manner of approach or acting. And in that regard, it does make me think of Robert Frost, Two Roads Diverged in the Wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. Meaning, for some people, deliberately going a different way than most people do is seen as desirable. And of course, while that might not always work out, there are certainly possibilities and outcomes that may be available which a more centrist or mainstream approach will not provide. All of this is very conceptual, and it's hard to get a sense of what particular narrative or scene painting will be at hand, or if I'll be able to pick it up on a first listen, but I'll certainly try. This is Japan. The track is Obscure Alternatives from the album of the same name, 1978.
Love's incentives understood. Regular thoughts comply. Still afraid of everyone. Love is unsatisfied. Zero down to zero. Submerging in every man. Zero down to zero. Catch me as best you can. Well, you must know something is when I am mastering alternatives. Between the dialogue, lovers run. No decisions we will decide. Still afraid of every word. Life remains unsatisfied. Zero down to zero. Submerging every man. Zero down to zero. Alternatives.
A fascinating tune, and I can see why this is chosen as the title track, and that it has a real kind of like epic yet also psychedelic quality to it. It kind of reminded me, and I don't really know their catalog all that well outside of The Wall, but it reminded me a bit of like a Pink Floyd tune or something like that. It had a bit of a like psychedelic atmosphere, but also like an intensity to it, an epic quality to it. I do enjoy Sylvian's vocals, though because of them, I did not hear all the lines clearly. In fact, I didn't hear the majority of the lines clearly. There were a couple like phrases which stood out along the way, and I was wondering if that like chorus phrase, or at least that refrain, was something like "tear it down," something like that. So I don't even know if I was hearing that right, but there was a line early on. It was something like "inside every man is a virgin" or something like that. And again, maybe I'm hearing that incorrectly, but yeah, like I am wondering how that might relate to the title phrase. I do think I heard alternatives, though, like when I heard it, I wasn't sure, like, wait, did he say obscure right before that? So I don't know if I heard the title phrase specifically, but I think it was in there. But I do actually enjoy his vocals, especially when he got, sort of shouty or, kind of like intensely vocalizing at the end of some of the lines. It was a nice, like, a shout style vocal, which I don't know if I've heard too much from Mr. Sylvian, though me not recognizing the words he's saying has been a mainstay since the earliest Japan reactions, which admittedly were like ahead of this in time chronologically. But yeah, I enjoyed the guitar, and then there was that like pulsing electrical signal, like rhythmic layer, which I think was also a guitar, but it was played as if it was like, again, some sort of technological electrical signal. There were those backing like organ, like very kind of high like space organ chords, which gave it some texture and it added to a bit of that like, psychedelic atmosphere. But the whole thing kind of had this like languid, like moving through psychedelic liquid type of feel to it in terms of the rhythm and the pace of the tune. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. I don't know what it's about. I look forward to any insights. And again, it's just really fascinating to get a larger band's catalog, especially as in the case of this deep dive, as well as Simple Minds is another one that comes to mind, where I kind of like jumped around a bit chronologically. So either way, I enjoyed the tune. Let me know what you think of it, and I will see you next time. Peace.